Thank you for downloading a trial version of ccScan. This video is intended to give you some helpful hints to get you up and running really quick, some helpful tips, and show you around how the application works. When you first launch the application, you'll notice three boxes. This box here in the top left-hand corner contains what we call available jobs. You're given a number of sample jobs to get you started, but the idea is that you would modify each job for your particular document. When you modify a job, you define what variables are being displayed down here so that the user who is using this job has the ability to change those variables. For instance, you'll see in this instance, the user can type the name of the file that they'll be scanning. And so when you change a job, you'll notice that the variables for that job are displayed differently. And you can hide those variables or you can show them, and I'll show you more about that in the future. The first time you launch the application, you're going to be asked to log into the cloud. So I will log into this as a Salesforce job for Salesforce attachments. And I will log into that. And then you'll click the blue box. Once you click the blue box, the application will reach out to Salesforce and validate that those credentials are authentic. And then you'll be presented with this dialog box that's requesting that we pass a token into ccScan. Click Allow. And once that has dismissed itself, go ahead and click OK. So we're now logged into Salesforce attachments for all of the Salesforce attachments jobs. If you were to log into content or documents in Salesforce, you'd need to re-authenticate. I'm going to switch back to this test job for our example here. So as you first launch the application, I'm going to suggest that what you do is you move this line over so that you can see all of the data that's up here in the job description window. Then move these lines around so you can see everything that's here. So now we can see the full listing of Salesforce, scan to Salesforce attachments test. And this is in a Salesforce attachments job. So the next thing you're going to want to do is configure the scanner. So we are on a scan job, not an import job. So using that scan job, we're going to go to the ribbon, go to select scanner. What's this doing now is this is looking into this computer's registry for any drivers that are loaded that we want to select to use with our scan jobs. So in this case, we're going to be using the DR225, and we're going to use the Twain driver. Always use a Twain driver. Don't use any other type of driver. Don't use a WIA driver or anything else that you see. You need to use only a TWAIN driver. So we select that driver. If you look here on the bottom left-hand corner, you can see that ccScan is reaching out to create a handshake with that scanner, and it's now completed that handshake. So it sees the scanner. The scanner is now configured for every scan job. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go and modify this job slightly by going to the ribbon, and we go into the setup mode. And this setup mode is similar to an admin mode in many applications. You can see lots of different variables being displayed here. Notice this row here where it says show. When the box is checked, it's showing that variable in the job itself. And if you remember, one of them was my name. So I had typed in my name there, and we're showing that field. The description field is not being shown, whether it's private or not. Or you can see that very few of these items are being shown. One of them that's being shown that's critical is this attached to record field. Well, we're going to go ahead and just demonstrate what it's like to show a field. So description was not being shown previously. I click that box, I click Save Job and Close, and now that field is part of the job, allowing the user to input information into that field while using the job. So I can lock this down through the admin tool. If I was to admin log out, then I would be unable to go back into setup mode. Now the default password for admin is password with a capital P. We suggest that you don't change that, but if you do deploy this to some other users and you've configured it, you may want to lock them out so that they can't change anything. So we'll go back into this job here. We'll go back into that setup mode. It thinks for a second, creates a handshake with the scanner. go back into that setup mode, and I'll turn that description field off. So what we'll do now is browse through just a few of these items. I'm going to point you to the help menu if you've got questions. Our help menu is really extensive, and you'll probably find your answer there. And then, of course, I'm always available for consultation if you'd like to give me a call, and I'll leave my contact information here shortly. So as I go through, if I have any questions about any of these capabilities, again, the help field, the help lookup will be answer my questions. One of the common questions is the document format. So I'm going to go ahead and show that in the job itself. And you can see our options are PDF, PDF searchable, which is going to OCR the document, and then TIFF and JPEG. PDF and PDF searchable obviously are the most common types of file types that we are scanning to. So I'll leave that as a PDF, but I am showing that field. And I don't need to show any of these fields. These were just being set in the setup of the original job. I'm going to hide those to kind of clean this job up a little bit. As I scroll down and look at other functionality, you can see everything related to the scanner. So you, in 99.9% of the time, you'll just leave all this alone, letting the scanner do any manipulation or any variations that need to be done. Anything that starts with BC is related to barcodes. And so if you've got questions about barcodes, again, I'm going to point to the help menu, but barcodes are merely fonts that humans can't read. This is how you define how many barcodes there are, where they're at, whether they read left or right, and what type of barcode they are. There are a few other options when it comes to barcodes. I'd be happy to work with you on that. Regular expressions is the most common way to extract data from a document. And so again, I'm going to point you to help. Read everything you can about regular expressions. It's about 3 pages long. It'll make absolute sense. It's a very simple programming language. What you'll do is you'll input your regular expression in this position here. That would be the regular expression position 1. You would turn on regular expressions, and then you would reference that with a what we call a macro, a ccScan macro. So in this instance, the macro is represented by a % followed by data and a % sign, and it looks like this. R1%, so lower R1%. So this is referencing regular expression statement number 1 to input that value here. So now I am extracting data from the document, and I'm using that data to write the name of the file into it. I've also got this lookup window here in Salesforce. It's not unlike any of the cloud lookups. When I select it, since I am logged in, I'm able to browse the cloud structure, and I could put that same macro in there if I wanted to. So in this instance, I'm using Salesforce account and account name. If I typed that macro, %R1%, and I selected dynamic lookup, now it would automatically extract the regular expressions result, do a dynamic lookup or a real-time lookup in Salesforce, and deposit the document there automatically. I'm going to turn that off just so that we can do a manual lookup in a moment, and we'll leave this field available to do a manual lookup in a job. So hit OK. As I scroll down farther, you're presented with the rest of the options. Some of them have to do with trash and that sort of thing. So that's the crux of setting it up. So I will say, I have to uncheck that because I'm not using a regular expression, and I'll click close. So now as I use this job, I'm back in production, I have the ability to look up a record. It's defaulted to input regular expression value number 1. I'll erase that. And I can look up an account simply by typing a star, which is a wildcard, and I can do a count lookup of every account name in this org. And this may look familiar to you. This is similar to a developer org. So once I've selected the record I want to send it to, I check OK. It writes the Salesforce unique ID number back to this field, which is the entire intent. I can type the name of the document as test. I have configured my scanner. All I need to do is click Start Scan. It creates a handshake with the scanner and begins to scan the paper. I get a preview of that image here on the right-hand side where the blue is. And look over here on the right-hand side and you'll see the SCN icon spinning. Now the EXP icon is spinning, and that's sending it into Salesforce. This document was just deposited in Salesforce into this record with that name. I hope that helps. My name is Monte Jensen with Capture Components. You can see my email address at monte@capturecomponents.com. And my direct phone number is 415-286-1127. We're located here in the San Francisco Bay Area. Feel free to give me a call anytime. Thanks so much.